Welcome to Campfire Curmudgeon. I'm your host, Heidi, and with me...
This is Nicholas Jones.
Oh, we sound super enthused to do a podcast
back.
today.
Yeah, welcome back to the new year. It's 2018.
It's 2018, and it feels like so long. It's been kind of a while since we've recorded for you guys with all the holiday shenanigans. Sorry about that.
And everybody going through one bout of illness or another, either in
know.
in your household or mine or my workplace or yours. Everybody seems to have gotten the illness.
We had the sniffles. You may still hear some, but at least we're not subjecting you to, super sick voices, coughing, sneezing. You're welcome.
Welcome to Campfire Curmudgeon.
That's really good for podcasting. That's super good audio.
That's right.
Speaking of audio...
I'm Charlie Brown's parents.
Speaking of audio, we're using some different mics today, so you guys can tell us what you think about that, if you like it better, if it sounds better or worse, whatever. Let us know.
Improvement, de-improvement. Whatever you want to, if it sucks more.
If it sucks more. Yeah, if it sucks more, tell us. If it sucks less,
you guys, this topic totally sucks, but you sounded great.
I mean, hey, that's all we care about, right?
So we're just trying to, we're experimenting.
Well, today, what we're going to talk about is...
audio scientists.
Something... What?
I said we're bad audio scientists.
You said it's so late. It's moved on, new topic.
I'm not stoned.
Clearly. Clearly. Today we're going to talk about something that if you are local to the Phoenix area or keep up on news in the Phoenix area, don't know why you would if you're not local, I don't know. Anyways, it might be a topic that you've already heard a little bit about. There is a man here named Rudy Calderon, probably saying that wrong, don't care. He's claiming that he's having some paranormal activity happening in his house. He went on Facebook, he did a video where he's been asking for everybody's help kind of figuring out what's going on, asking people, if they are experienced in house blessings, ghost hunting, all that. He's asking for advice and people to come cleanse his house, basically. Nick and I have not seen the video yet. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about it, and we're going to stop to watch the video, so if you're able to do that with us, that would be nice. If not, we're going to try to describe it. I know watching a video is super great for podcasting, but it's fine.
Do you want to read the Facebook post, or?
Well, I'm going to read, you can read the Facebook post. Okay. I'm going to give a little background first. The guy's name is Rudy Calderon. He's 28. He says his house is haunted. This is a house that he lives in with his grandfather, his aunt, and two of his cousins. One is 14 and one is 17.
So it's a very close-knit family.
And you've got a lot of people in there, so I'm already seeing a lot of room for, somebody to be messing with somebody else.
Sure.
Especially 14, 17-year-old cousins, come on.
Yeah, and from what he's posted on his Facebook, going through it, he just seems like a regular guy who travels a lot. He's got a older brother in graduate studies student.
Yeah, I think he went to ASU too.
But in the last few years, just scrolling through it, he just looks like a normal guy who likes to travel the world, which is dude, go for it. He went to Tokyo, China, Mexico City, I think the Taj Mahal, all within the last 2 years, and that's pretty
awesome.
Yeah. So
Rudy, for listening, we're a little jealous.
It's not like somebody's craving for attention, right? Because if you travel the world and post that online,
maybe he liked all those likes he's getting from those travel pictures. Now he's like, I need the new likes.
I'm just saying that it doesn't strike. I mean, this is what he posts publicly. Yeah. It doesn't strike me that he's
seeking attention
from either. He's already got a close-knit family, right? So.
Well, the backstory on this is he found some markings in his bathroom, and that was kind of the catalyst to him seeking help. Before that, he just noticed some weird stuff, things moving around his house, small things. He says it started December 21st. There was a little Santa toy he had out, and he noticed that it went from his living room to a laundry bin in his bedroom. He thought that was kind of weird. Then he noticed that a box of coins he had moved from his luggage to his kitchen counter. So, of course, at first he thought somebody was messing with him, but nobody in the house would fess up to being the one that moved the stuff. And then he found something written on the wall, I think it was in his bathroom, that he went to Facebook to try to have people help figure it out. And I guess people decided that it's the Yiddish word for danger. nobody in his family speaks Yiddish or understands it, he says.
Right, and Yiddish, what is Yiddish for those of, for goys like me?
Well, sounds like you know a lot about it. Yiddish it's kind of a conglomeration of different languages spoken predominantly by those of Jewish descent.
It's Judeo-German.
Yeah, well, it's got some German, like Polish, like
Mhm.
it's got a whole lot of different things in there, and it's kind of just like,
So, like, written in black
it's like
crayon.
Spanglish.
I expected to see, like, oh, it's kind of probably like Hebrew characters.
It looks a little bit like it, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, well, if it's German and anything, it'd be weird to just wake up and see Achtung written in, like, black crayon on your on your wall.
Well, he describes it as like charcoal.
Mm-hmm.
From the images I saw, especially since it's in the bathroom, it made me think of eyeliner.
Mm-hmm. It
like
looked like
big,
black crayon to me.
Yeah, it looked like a black eyeliner or
Mhm.
something. He's left that there. He says he's not going to clean it off. He wants somebody to bless his house and clean it off with holy water.
Uh-huh.
So that's really where we are there. I think he said he also noticed some stuff like drawers and cabinets in his kitchen were being opened by someone that wasn't him.
That's creepy. That's like right out of the Sixth Sense when, like, mom leaves the kitchen during breakfast.
Yeah.
And she comes back in and he's eating breakfast. But between the time she leaves the room and comes back into the kitchen, and you could hear, like, it's all in the same shot, but, like, all the drawers and cabinets are just open.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you didn't hear any of them open. It's just like, that's creepy.
Pretty creepy.
So
stuff.
here's, like, you found this because of the news story. I think he reported.
Yeah, this
reported
was
to
kind
ABC,
of
the
all
local
over
ABC
the news. Yeah, on Facebook, a lot of local people here were sharing it to me because they were like, "Hey, you like this kind of shit."
So here's his post. It says, "I know this is Christmas Eve, but I need some assistance translating and getting an opinion. For the past few days, our house that my grandfather, aunt, 2 cousins, and myself have been living in has been acting up. We've been hearing noises. Objects appear out of nowhere. They move around, and yesterday all of our kitchen cabinets were left open. All doors were locked, so no one could have gotten in. And we tried to blame each other, but then things got weirder. My 2 uncles came to pray and assured us that it was all in our minds, but later that day I wasn't convinced. We found this writing in our bathroom wall, and due to stress, my aunt fainted. She was shaking uncontrollably and couldn't breathe. I don't recognize the writing, even with my travel experience, so can anyone recognize it? Maybe translate it for me? We have definitely confessed that none of us have done it, so at this point, I'm convinced it's something else. There was no time yesterday where our family was apart to play a trick on each other. This morning, out of nowhere, our bathroom started flooding, out of nowhere. We set up cameras last night, and we have 6 hours worth of material. As a family of faith, I know God will protect us, but we're terrified. Check out the video. We'd appreciate any helpful advice. Merry Christmas."
Interesting stuff. I know also, I don't remember where, but I read that he had reported that at one point he and his aunt were praying, and they heard what sounded like somebody like banging on the door, which, I mean, depending on where you live, like, there's a lot of kids in my neighborhood. None of them are brave enough to come near my door, but I can see, like, in my parents' neighborhood when we were younger, growing up, we'd always have kids, like, banging on the door, playing Ding Dong Doorbell Ditch, especially at night, if it was the weekends or, like, a holiday where kids were off. Always, constantly doing that. So that, to me, depending on where you live, that doesn't sound very, like, that's not the scariest thing. I think what's scarier is what's happening inside the house, things being moved, somebody going through his luggage, which, that to me is kind of interesting, because it's like, even if somebody were playing a trick, like another family member, you think they wouldn't go through your suitcase to take something out, but at the same time, I know my cousins and we used to mess with each other all the time, and it's not very hard to just Google, like, you know, pick a language, okay, Yiddish, Google it, see how you're supposed to do it, draw it.
Yeah, it could be, concern about a dimmick. The opening scene of the Coen brothers' A Serious Man takes place in, like, 18th or 17th century Poland, when a rabbi knocks on this couple's door, and they start to freak out because, you know, there's the Yiddish couple and it's this Jewish community, and they're like, "We don't recognize this rabbi. We think he's a dybbuk." And a dybbuk in Yiddish culture and Jewish mythology It comes from the Hebrew verb dabak, meaning to adhere or cling. It's a malicious possessing spirit believed to be the dislocated soul of a dead person. It supposedly leaves the host cloudy once it's accomplished its goal, sometimes after being helped. So the Yiddish kind of on the wall, that reminded me.
Like a Dybbuk. Yeah,
Well,
that's interesting.
Not so much that. That was the second thing. Come on, you had some Catholic education. Do you remember the story of like God writing on the wall?
I remember it in a Bible story book. I was just like, lol, this picture, because like it had the best illustrations. Like everyone was just like, oh, like.
Daniel chapter 5, Book of Daniel.
Oh, okay, I'll get right on that. Okay.
It's basically where the phrase "the writing on the wall" came from.
So, why was this writing on the wall? Show off that Catholic education. You're like, I paid for this.
Yeah,
you didn't pay for it.
Belshazzar holds a great feast and drinks from the vessels that have been looted in the destruction. This is the kingdom that overthrew Jerusalem and destroyed the king Nebuchadnezzar.
That's the best name ever. Such a weird name. I love
Nebuchadnezzar,
it. Yeah.
But the queen, like, basically calls for his wise men, but they can't read it. The queen advises him to send for Daniel, and Daniel is basically her.
Okay.
Daniel reminds Belshazzar that his father Nebuchadnezzar over the kingdom of men. Ugh. Basically, Daniel reads the message and tells the king. Basically,
that's what the writing means.
The writing on the wall. The writing on the wall basically is that
what it looks like compared to this word that people are saying looks like danger.
Mm-hmm. Like obviously in children's Bible stories books, but also like classical art that's been done.
It was fun until somebody had to ruin it.
Yeah, God was like, "Oh, you guys are partying in the ruins of my people."
I mean, that's not much of a threat. If you're gonna threaten somebody, tell them you're gonna cut out their eyes and make them eat better.
Wouldn't it be weird to see like a hand the size of a Volkswagen come down and etch into that we conquered? Like, get him in here to read this. And it's like, yeah, that's my God. And he's saying you didn't overturn and
you gotta make friends with the biggest God, apparently.
Huh?
You gotta make friends. Popped up.
I'm just saying, like, basically to the victor go the spoils. His God gets jealous. God's like, oh, these are my people.
Yeah, he is such a jealous lover. My God. Don't you love me?
Yeah.
Show me, always.
Did you stop thinking about me for 5 minutes?
Did everyone and turned off all the listeners.
Yeah.
Come back to us. That after looking through his Facebook and things, after cyber stalking him, you didn't think that
it's one of the
part of it at all? Like, he's not involved?
He doesn't strike, like, just from looking through his personality, he's a devout, believer, but at the same time, that can turn you into an
like, you want to believe something, so... Like, I obviously believe in make me think that there's a ghost.
Exactly.
So you're saying it's that kind of thing where he's more susceptible to a slight suggestion.
It could be one of the kids. It could be, I don't know what it is, but basically there's a combination. Like, reappear and be like, I came to work the other day and my phone charger was missing, right? Like, I was like, where's my phone charger? And they're like, oh, saying, hey,
like, or leave a sticky note, come on.
And then so when that coworker came back to work, he put it back. I pointed to where it was, and he goes, no. So he's like, oh, somebody else must have next to mine, and it's plugged into that desk. And they're like, and he goes, oh, the person yours, not your desk. And I go,
so now everybody knows you have a charger, and they're all borrowing it when you're on.
I was like, coworker should just admit
that they put it the wrong desk.
I don't know what the reality is, but you probably plugged it back into this desk. Not my desk.
Good job. I'm like, I borrowed this.
Yeah, I know.
I put it back, or I borrowed it and didn't put it back.
It just struck me as supposed to go, and then somebody else
because he didn't want you to be mad at him
and didn't do that. I'm like, okay.
Wonder, like, there's this phenomenon that sometimes happens where and they believe it to a point where they want everyone else to believe it.
Yep.
In order to get you to also believe what they believe.
Already know the guy's guilty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's that thing where it's
Cops don't usually frame...
It's like, if you believe in something and you want other people to believe in it, you can see where the temptation is.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get found out. They're going to know you made something up.
Right.
And it's just going to be like, we really don't believe, and we think that everybody is a fake.
We're also outcasts within the Bigfoot community.
We live on we were kind of maybe wondering before, but now...
See, the other part is like, oh, I didn't do that, right? And it doesn't, it's just... Basically,
So
like,
far, they haven't done anything like that.
and it doesn't strike me as like to the level of like the balloon boy like bullshit. Do you remember the balloon?
Don't think so.
There was like this helium balloon.
The kid that tried to fly with the balloon?
Yeah, just like basically somebody found it, it was floating, and it went like, you know, a attic of the house the whole time. And it was a hoax because the parents were just like publicity, like a reality TV show type thing.
Well, that's the thing, is the way social Chewbacca mom. She
Oh,
was
yeah.
that lady, she bought, all she did was
Yeah.
she went into it like a Target or something.
Yeah, she was like,
she just bought a mask.
She's like,
put it
I've been having
on.
a crap day. I put this on, and it
Yeah.
really cheered me up.
Yeah, she just filmed doing
Yeah.
it. And it blew up. It became so viral.
Uh-huh.
She got so much money for that. And
Uh,
or even a lot of people, I can be guilty of this, might, you know, think about follow them to
Right.
get more likes because you're trying to,
And
some
the
people are
Chewbacca
trying to
mom
build a brand.
Yeah, like there's in previous episodes. But the Chewbacca mom was a funny example because and stuff, and people were like, "Oh, this poor mom! Like, this is the one good thing that she has in her day." And they're like, spending money, like, "Hey, let's get this mom a vacation," and then like people do that, and then they're scrolling through her or like they find out she's a racist, and then it's like, oh, well, pixely, it's like Milkshake Duck is basically an example of something that blows up, and they're like, and then what happens is somebody looks through it and is like, oh, it turns out Milkshake Duck is a racist. Like, basically, like, history that was, like, it was controversial.
I don't remember that, but I do remember, like, it was bullying.
Yeah.
And kids got sick of it and told him to fuck off, basically, and his mom was like,
was talking about, like, how come white people can't exist in 2017? Like, okay. Well,
figure it out.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Or like, Ken Bone, the presidential debate. He did an AMA under his actual Reddit.
Yes.
And one of them was like, oh, it turns out Ken Bone, the weird, undecided voter who couldn't porn fetish. And it's just like, well, to each his own, Ken.
You know,
but why,
everybody's got their thing.
Everybody's got their thing.
Think about that. So, like, but what you're saying though, like, do you feel like that's going to happen with this? Like, you think people are going to...
I don't think he's an instance of a very devout family that had something happen.
Here's the thing about that. Favorite things to kind of silently think to myself.
What, Matthew 22?
I don't know. When I see people praying out loud, shit with the numbers, they mean nothing to me. But yeah, like, don't pray out in the questioning. Because I know we're kind of, like, with social media now, people share everything. Like, I feel like there's some things that maybe you'll message some friends, like, hey, this weird stuff is happening. Definitely listen to Campfire Curmudgeon. I'm sure there's a lot.
It's Matthew 6:5, pray, don't pray out, you know, the synagogues, to make a public, you know, God sees that you're talking to me, and God sees the true measure of your faith. It's basically, do not be like the hypocrites, that kind of stuff. Yeah. That's Matthew 6. Okay. To
me, so I think it's kind of interesting, because if he's so devout, okay, he goes to a church. Mm-hmm. If he goes to a church...
Not necessarily. My brother's devout, but they don't do the church thing.
Don't consider that devout, then.
Oh, well, he's a devout.
Sorry.
He's devout.
I mean, if you're a devout Catholic...
They follow a line of scripture.
Because it said something...
They follow a line of scripture that's in the Acts of the Apostles on, like, the day of
then you're not
Pentecost, when
then you're
the
not
Holy
a Catholic.
Spirit comes down. No, well, I don't know that he's
that's what I'm saying.
Former Catholic.
This person...
The line in the Bible is... wherever 2 or 3 people are gathered in my name
is a church, blah blah blah. Yeah, a lot of Baptist churches or whatever. I'm probably getting it wrong because whatever. Sorry, it's all the same. Yeah. A lot of those churches do that. Churches out of their houses and stuff. But so he said, I read in an article that they were devout Catholics, but then something about the grandfather. I don't know if it was the way the article was written. I couldn't tell if it was specifically the grandfather or the whole family had converted to being evangelical Christians, which is interesting to me because I know a big part of, if I'm understanding correctly, evangelical faith is to witness to people, and that's why I think it's a bit of a stunt.
Could be.
Is if you're devout and you go to church, especially if you've recently converted, you probably go to church, or you have somebody
no zealot like a
convert you're reaching out to. You could go to wherever you congregate, whoever does your Bible studies, whatever with you, and say, hey, who knows a good priest, preacher, reverend, insert whatever here? Yeah. Who knows somebody who can help us, who can come bless house? I don't understand why you'd ask Facebook. To me, that's not the first place I'm going to reach out. And if I am going to reach out, what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to find a group on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like for me, when I have questions about different like illnesses that I have, I don't just post on Facebook and say like, who knows why this is happening to me. I go to one of the groups I'm in with people also having this and go, hey, when your elbow pops out of place, how do you get it back in?
Yeah.
And I ask people that are experiencing it. So that's where I have a little bit of a question, because I guarantee you, if he really wanted to reach out on the internet, there's so many places specific that he could have done it.
Yes.
When you're doing it somewhere like Facebook,
Yeah.
YouTube, Instagram, that to me is like a little bit more just, hey, everybody.
That causes your motives to be a little...
So that's why I do question a little bit. Because I'm all for believing in ghosts and stuff, but I don't... I mean, we tell our stories on this podcast. I talk about it on this podcast. I don't make a post on my Facebook every time an experience happens. You know, we've had some weird experiences here. We talked about when we had Heather and Kelly on that happened in this house we're currently recording in. Ooh, maybe we'll get some EVPs. But Nick is rolling his eyes so hard. But I didn't post that on my Facebook.
I feel like you just farted.
No, I was scratching. I'm sorry. I'm itchy. You need lotion. It's snowing over here. It's just dead skin. Okay. Here, have some. See what you get? Skin cells. But I feel like, you know, I didn't post that story. We don't post things like that on Facebook. Like, maybe we'll post it, you know, Campfire Curmudgeon. Yeah. We'll post it to something that's specific to that topic. So I do question the motives a little bit. Yeah. I think right now is a good time for us to watch the whole video that he posts. So if you guys have the ability to watch the video right now, definitely do it. If not, check it out later. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and tell you what we think. All right, so we just watched that video there that Rudy posted. So, do you have any thoughts after that, Nick?
Yeah, I could tell you that it was on the ABC 15 website, right?
I think it was AZ Central.
Okay, AZ Central, which is basically the Arizona Republic's newspaper website for local news.
It's been all over a lot of different news.
But it wasn't it was not a cameraman sent to the house to interview him.
No. This was a video he posted himself.
He posted himself, and then they basically reposted it. It was
this was something he posted to Facebook or YouTube. I don't know. I think probably both.
You keep saying it looks like eyeliner. I think it looks like charcoal pencil. Or black, or black crayon.
It just made me think of eyeliner because it's in the bathroom. Yeah. And it used to drive my mom crazy when I was a kid living with them. When I would go to do my eyeliner, to get it to like a nice sharp point, because I use the ones you twist up. I would kind of like run the sides of it along the mirror to get it to like a nice sharp point. And it would drive my mom crazy because I'd leave to go to school and there'd just be black smudges on the mirror. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, it comes off. It's fine. And I'd just like wipe it off. But it would just drive her crazy because I'd never wipe it off. And that's what it looked like to me. Was like a big like eyeliner like smudge or something. I mean, it's probably charcoal or something. It just makes me think of that. After watching this, especially... I mean, it could just be because when you watch a lot of stuff, when you go to do something, you're going to do it the way you've seen it. Yeah. But to me, it was very similar to a lot of the YouTubers that my sister is into. Hi, Rachel. She's 16, and I'm sure she's still really into them, but especially a few years ago, she was all about the YouTubers doing their thing. And this guy kind of follows that sort of like, hey everybody, check X out. I don't know what you think, but you know, it was like that same kind of like script that was followed.
A little bit, because he didn't seem like, here's the thing, I don't think he had camera presence.
No.
But
it was still like, hey, look at this thing. Isn't it weird? Like, he wasn't like, I'm scared, I'm begging you, somebody come help me. Right, it's kind of like,
what's the ask? And
the ask was he was just like, look at this thing I found.
Bless and cleanse the house, I guess.
It was more almost like when you think something's really interesting and like everybody's gonna find it interesting, so you want to like show it off almost.
Uh-huh.
You're like, look at this weird thing I bought, and people are like, why did you upload a video of you talking about some stupid thing you bought? You're like, oh, I thought everybody would think it was cool. It was kind of like that, like the way the video was. You know what I mean, Rudy? If you're listening, I'm sure he's not. And anybody else listening, if you're on the guy's side, like, I'm not trying to bash him, I just have an attitude, so it comes off that way. But to me,
yeah, why am I the nice one here? I'm like, he's not asking for money. He's freaked out. Like, his family's freaked out. His grandfather.
I know,
he was like, my grandfather does not lie.
Turned,
and I'm like, I'm not saying it's supernatural. I'm just saying, like, I don't. If there's any hate aimed at him, it shouldn't be.
No, I'm just sassy and I can't help it. I just think I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of rare for me to say because I usually believe people when you tell me that you saw a ghost, you saw something weird.
Uh-huh.
I tend to believe that because I have no reason to disbelieve it. But this seems like you're trying to sell me something and I'm not buying. When they say, I always am curious too. I understand like things that like hauntings that can get scary and people are like, I think this is above me, I need a priest. But I always find it weird when it's like nothing bad has happened except potentially they've been warned by something and a few of their knickknacks have been misplaced. And they're saying, you know, we have a strong faith in God, but we don't think we can handle this. And as someone who's not Christian, I am curious about that. And if you guys want to share your thoughts, I would love to hear them. I'm usually pretty fair and nice. I try not to poo-poo other people's thoughts, but to me,
I tend to be the one to alienate people.
Yeah, well, I try not to, but I mean, sometimes that attitude comes out. But I am genuinely curious. I guess, I mean, there's also that thing, kind of like you were saying with the finger, and God being like, you gotta love me. I guess that's something that I kind of struggle with.
Well, yeah, there's definitely a way to, like, it's like, wow, I'm rebelling against that. If that's the reality.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, I don't get that. Like, to me, I'm just like, ew. So maybe that's part of like why I don't understand when they're like, oh, I'm really faithful, but I'm not strong enough to do this. I guess it's kind of like, I don't know, you have to be a priest or somebody special.
I don't get that either because it's like for me, it's like one of those things where when I considered myself one of the new atheists, one of the things was like, there's nothing that a priest can do that gives them superpowers that I can't do, right? Like, there's nothing that makes you, like, being Christian.
Weren't there, like, some Bible stories? There's the one...
It's like, it doesn't make you a Jedi. It doesn't give you, like, force sensitivity. It doesn't give you superpowers.
I'm not super up to date with my Bible stories. I'm not good at remembering things either, but I think it's David, because he's got the same name as my brother. Wasn't he the one that, like, did a slingshot at the giant or something?
David and Goliath?
Sure, yeah. Right? Wasn't it kind of like, he was like, I got this, and everybody was like, you're gonna get squashed. Right. And he was like, no, I've got God, and he just slingshot?
He used a sling.
Shooted.
Yeah.
What is the past tense of killing someone with a slingshot?
Basically,
he slingshot murdered him.
Rock death.
Rock death.
to the face.
But, you know, like, that's kind of, I guess I always thought that it's like, if you're a Christian and you have that faith, it gives you power?
Right.
Or I thought that's what people thought.
That's the part that kind of baffles me. I'm like, he's like, oh, this is far beyond my power. Like, I need a super wizard to get clean my house out.
That's part of, too, why I find it kind of weird, because it's like, he's asking for help in a really public way for something that to me doesn't seem like that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I mean, even me living in a house with just two people, if I went into my bathroom and there was something written there, my parents have a house key, you have a house key, I've got a couple other friends that have house keys, like, I wouldn't think it was that big a deal. I'd be like, who did this?
Some human fucking did this.
Yeah, I would assume that, like, one of my friends is playing a trick on me.
Yeah.
You know, I guess I trust a lot of people when I think about how many people have a key to my house, but, you know.
Yeah, I feel like I like quoting Harris Whittles, who is a late comedian. He died in, I think, 2015. And he was a comedy hero of mine. Mm-hmm. He had a tweet on May 20th of 2014. He said, also, let's stop finding the new witch of the week and burning them at the stake. We are all horrible and wonderful and figuring it out.
Yeah. What made you think of that? You feel like we're
Just,
burning Rudy at the
no,
stake?
no. Just
okay.
like, no, I'm, like, we tend to do this as a culture.
Yeah.
It seems to be a form of our, like, wider entertainment.
We do.
Is to say, hey, look at this person. Oh, it turns out they're a piece of shit. So we get to go,
yes.
yay, and then we get to turn that yay into boo. Well, I'm better than that.
I think part of it, too, is people like to most people, I'm going to go out on a limb and make a generalization. Okay. I could be wrong. Yell at me if I am. I think most people like a feel-good story.
Yes.
But we also don't want to be tricked. So when there's that story... We
don't want it to be too perfect.
Well, like that story with the kid that got bullied, people are like, you know what? Fuck bullying. Like, you can't bully people, but... people want to make sure, like, well, we're giving this person money.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, part of it.
Like, I think to, 3 different movie premieres.
I haven't
it was like
seen.
The Rock. He's like, hey.
Like you said, I hadn't seen really anybody coming after Rudy, and I think part of that is he hasn't asked for anything other than,
and the thing is, the victim in that story is still the kid. For having just shit parents.
Yes and no.
He's in a bad situation.
He's old enough to start making his own decisions.
Maybe, yeah.
At that age, you start questioning what your parents are feeding you.
True.
And if you're the only kid bullying a bunch of other kids and they finally bully back, you get what you deserve. My little brother, he got picked on a lot, and a lot of the time he didn't deserve it. But there were times where I was like, well, you said that dumb thing and the girl shoved you on your butt. Learn from it. He'd come up to me and be like, she did this. I'd be like, okay, what did you say? Nothing. Oh, I'm going to go ask her. Oh, I did this. So you did a thing and somebody pushed you on your ass and you deserved it. Yeah. Well, guess you know how to talk to ladies now, huh? Yeah. And people in general. Guess you learned that lesson, that if you tell somebody their face looks ugly and they shove you on your butt, you deserved it, you know?
Buddy.
He learned.
But yeah, that's the other thing. That's kind of we expect there to be a shoe that drops every time something good happens now. Yeah,
unfortunately, but I think, a lot of the time people do a quick check, and if they don't find anything, they walk away. And in this case, he hasn't asked for money or anything, so, I'm not going to be too hard on the guy. Even if he's just seeking attention, I don't see that there's too much wrong with that, Yeah. I'm not going to go after him.
Right, it deserves exactly the level of attention that it got. Yeah. It was a news story.
It's just,
I
find it interesting, and I would love to see, what kind of follow-up happens, because I wonder if that's all that's going on, if it's, that's it, or if, because he said his aunt fainted, I'm wondering if she's, more scared than what he's letting on. Maybe he's, reaching out because she's like, no, ask everybody, and it may be one of those things where she's the one on the other side of that camera. She was the one filming him, do this.
Right. But, also, that many people living in one household,
there's a lot of room for somebody to play a trick on somebody.
Well, but also, it's I don't want to make a generalization, right? But what if there's someone with mental illness in that house, right?
Or what if things just get moved and you don't always remember it?
That's the thing I was saying. If you share a house with 6 people, nothing's ever going to stay in the same place for very long.
My family has 5 people in it, and there was a time when all 5 of us were in one house. It was a huge house, but especially the way my mom cleans, and she's a little absent-minded. You know your mom. You're a little kooky, little batshit. She's probably listening. She gets in this cleaning mode where she's just running around the house, and you're like, Mom, why is there dog food in the laundry basket? You put a shoe in the fridge. What are you doing? Stop. Yeah. And my brother and I would just be like, where is this? She's like, I didn't touch it. And we're like, whoa, Mom. And she's like, I'm cleaning up. We're like, okay, all right. We'll come back later. Later, she's like, oh, I put it in the fridge. We're like, well, it's his game controller. Can he have it? She's like, yeah, sorry. And we're just
that's so funny.
So it's that thing where things getting moved, maybe going in your luggage and moving it's kind of weird, but a Santa toy ending up, in your room in the laundry basket, not that weird to me.
We went in the kitchen and the cabinets were open. Okay, that means my dad went to your house.
Right, just opened it all and then absentmindedly walked out. Yeah, yes. My dad does that, and I'm like, Dad, could you shut this maybe?
I was always like, Ed, you left the cabinet door open and I hit my head on it again.
Oh, that sucks. That's kind of funny. But yeah, my brother would do stuff like that. He'd open the cabinet, get his cereal out, pour the milk, walk away. My mom was like, are you kidding me? Just shut the cabinet, put the cereal back. It's not that hard. What would be your thought, though, if you living, if you went into your bathroom and...
I live alone.
Exactly. So what if this was written on your wall? what is your level of, like, freak out you would be at? After, so let's say, you kind of notice this, like, you're like, hey, things around my house are kind of getting moved around. Weird. And you wake up, you go to take a shower, and you've got some charcoal shit on your shower.
Well, how often am I getting blackout drunk?
Right.
Like, did I do this?
Maybe you don't want to admit to that on air.
Let me go through my YouTube watch history, like, see what I was looking at.
Like, I was looking at a Hebrew tutorial. Yeah. Duh.
It was me. Because I have mental problems.
Well,
that would be much more plausible than, like, well, first of all, I'd look at the instrument that was used for writing, right? Like, and what
if it was something you didn't have in your house?
Right.
Like, it looks like it's charcoal or something you don't think you own.
Or it was made with, like, a 64 pack of Crayola colored pencils or something, and I'm like, I don't have any of that stuff.
I don't have purple.
Yeah. Well, purple, I think I'd guess.
You think it was me? Like, give me the key.
It was Heidi. This is for emergencies only, Heidi.
It was an emergency.
But yeah, basically I would want to find out the message and the medium and the background and all that, and then I would probably share it with a couple close people.
But family. Do you think you'd, like, post something online?
No.
And would it scare you? Do you think you'd be, like,
I don't usually
freak out level?
No.
Yeah, well, especially you're kind of like, nothing scares me. What is that, a ghost? That's fine. I don't see it. I'm a curmudgeon. I swear a ghost could go right fucking through you and you would just be like, no, I don't think that's no, I don't think so. But, because I'm trying to think, as somebody who's a little bit more susceptible to believing things, like, I believe in a lot of stuff. I believe in all sorts of different paranormal experiences.
As a kid, I used to get wigged out by, like, the unsolved mysteries and the UFO stories. Because
I still get wigged out.
We would watch, like, X-Files and then Unsolved Mysteries, or like it'd be like one of those,
right
or like a National Geographic, like unsolved like UFO happenings or disappearances. And then for the rest of the night, I'd be like looking out the crack of the blinds of my windows, like, are they coming? Are they coming tonight? Like,
they're gonna get me. They're gonna
as a kid, that was what scared me, because it felt within, like,
the
plausible.
Possibility.
Yeah.
Well, I just think, I believe in a lot of stuff, and yet I feel like, regardless, I mean, I have another person living here, I have people with keys to my house. I still don't think that I'd be freaked out. I'd be more like, what is this? Like, my first reaction would be like, who the fuck? And
You'd be investigative. You wouldn't be like...
Yeah, well, like, especially, like, even then, the message isn't, get out. It's not, I'm gonna kill you. You have 7 days. It's not anything like that. I mean, it could be interpreted, they said, as threat, but it seemed more, the consensus was that it's danger. Like, it's the word danger.
Or threat, yeah.
Which to me seems more like a warning. So even, even if I thought this is totally something that is supernatural, this is not something somebody in my family did, I don't think it would really bother me. I don't think I'd be scared. I think I'd be like, oh, danger. Maybe I need to, like, watch out. Maybe I need to drive a little more careful today. Like, maybe I need to be careful. It's like somebody's trying to warn me of something. Maybe I should get, these outlets that are really loose in my house checked before they start a fire. Something like that. Yeah, like half the outlets in my house. That's what I would assume. So the fact that these people are scared, like jumping straight to scared, I wonder what they're consuming. And I don't mean, are they getting high? Like, what I mean is, what's the media
are
they consuming?
Like? What videos or what?
Yeah, well, I'm wondering, are they watching paranormal shows where there are possessions and hauntings? Are they, does it have to do with their religion? I don't know all that much about evangelical, except my understanding is big, loud, on TV, like those kinds of preachers is what I think of when I think of evangelical.
Yeah.
Is someone yelling at me, to be perfectly honest? Sorry. So I don't know though. I think they're pretty fire and brimstone. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It can be. There's some of them are like, if you pray hard enough and you're dealing with poverty, God will give you a blessing. Give me a blessing, and God will return the blessing tenfold. I'm
thinking more, too, like, some of them are like, if you don't change your ways, you're going to rot in hell forever. Like, that kind of, like, scare tactics.
I don't think you see as much of that on TV as you used to.
No, but I mean, that's what I think of when I think of the word evangelical.
Right.
And I don't know, I could be wrong. And I love being corrected. Go for it. It doesn't hurt my feelings. That's just what I think of. So I'm wondering if maybe, especially if they're recently converted or if the grandfather's recently converted, if maybe there's a little bit of like fear going on in that household, just like a overwhelming.
Okay, so if you want to cover like the bad motives thing,
yeah,
evangelicals are usually like they're Trump's #1 supporters. They are. I'm not saying this family is that.
Downvote.
No, I'm not saying that. No, actually, if you go through his Facebook, it shows that around November of last year, his mother, like there's a Mexican American family.
Mm-hmm.
His mother came to this country. I think he's a natural born citizen, but his mother's not.
Mm-hmm.
And when his mother broke her foot, she was arrested by INS and was like scheduled to be deported.
Oof.
They got lawyers. They got the case dismissed. So she's still.
That's good.
Yeah. So it's like
I was gonna say that's the story we should be covering.
If that happened in October of 2016 and November 2016, I can guarantee you they probably weren't voting for Trump.
No.
But I'm just saying, like, so if you take the bad faith evangelicals, some of them think that lying in purpose of the faith, the ends justify the means.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm wondering that is the article I read made it sound like specifically the grandfather converted. So I'm wondering if he's trying some fire and brimstone tactics on the family.
Yiddish, though? Why not Hebrew?
Because maybe he doesn't not so great with Google. I don't know. I mean, my dad, you ask him to Google one thing and another thing, and you're like, what are you doing? What are you clicking on? My phone has a virus. No, it doesn't. Dad, stop clicking that. This actually happened.
Yeah.
I think you overheard that phone call.
Yes, I did.
Where I'm like, stop clicking it. Stop. Put the phone down, Dad. I'm like, I'm just going to come over. I'm going to drive 30 minutes to your house so you don't install something stupid on your phone.
Yeah.
And this was because he tried to, like, Google something.
Uh-huh.
So it wouldn't surprise
he clicked
me.
On, like, the sidebar results or whatever. Yeah.
I don't know what he did. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if he was just like, okay, Hebrew's in the Bible. Let's look up some stuff. Oh, here's a thing. He might have even seen it in, like you said, I don't know if it looks anything like the images of, like, the writing on the wall. That's why I was curious about that.
No, that's why I looked it up first.
No, it doesn't look like that.
Not quite.
Because I'm wondering if maybe it's something they saw somewhere. It could even be, maybe one of the cousins or something kind of messing with the grandpa over his, new conversion as they're kind of trying to mess with him. Like, oh, he's really susceptible right now. Not saying they're doing that. If you are, shame on you, boys. Stop that. Don't mess with your elders.
But also, elders, don't fuck with your grandkids.
That too.
They're going to be making decisions sometimes when you're snoring. And those decisions will have a direct impact on you.
But, I do wonder. I guess a lot of people really share paranormal stuff that's happened to them. And I don't necessarily bat an eye, but I think that's because of where they're sharing it or what context they're sharing it in. They're not sharing it in the context of like, oh, I'm scared, help me. They're not sharing it in a context of like, they're just sharing it as like this is something that I think is paranormal and interesting. Let me share it. Or people that have, something about their faith they want to share that's like something that's like a miracle they think happened. Is you'll see videos like that where people are like, here's about the one time God saved me because I almost died. And they're not, at the end of it, they're not like, what do you think? They're not trying to generate likes or clicks or, you know what I mean? They're just like, here's me sharing my experience. But when I see the ones that are like, here's a miracle. If you love miracles, share this. Pay me, that kind of stuff. I'm like, there's another motive here. So I do kind of question the guy's motives. But I wish that there was some follow-up video. This was something that, he mostly just posted to his personal Facebook. So it could just be that he thought he had enough friends that would find it of interest or have something interesting to say. Or, he could even be almost using it as a witnessing tool to try to show his friends, like, this kind of stuff does happen. It's happening to me. And like,
I think part of it's that. I think it could be a combination of hoax plus innocent interpretation. I think it's that.
I'm just not, so as much as I believe in things, supernatural things, ghosts, what have you, I don't, like, I feel like if something is manifesting enough energy to leave a mark on your wall, there's like some serious shit going on, and if all they've done previously is overflow a few bathtubs and like move some shit around,
Yeah.
it's kind of strange to me that it's like no one's claiming to get like beat, scratched, or have like horrifying dreams or anything like that.
Yeah.
They're not getting terrorized, so it's kind of like, what is going on?
Yeah.
It gives you, you know, a scratch to the head.
What's the deal? Yeah. Yeah.
What's the deal? If this is real, and something's, you know, trying to tell you something, what'd you do? Why? Like, why is it taking enough energy to physically leave a mark on in your like living space?
An elaborate one, right?
And here's the thing too. It's in the shower.
Yeah.
What's the shower made out of? Their shower specifically.
It was like green tile.
Tile.
Yeah.
Charcoal and tile cleans up.
Yeah.
Why was it not on like the paint in the living room? Or scratched into the carpet?
Or the mirror, yeah.
No. I'm saying the mirror is equally easy to clean.
Yeah.
It's ironic that it happened to be
on
a
an
bathroom
easily
surface.
removable surface.
Yeah, like when you leave somebody a cute love note on with lipstick, you do it on the mirror.
You don't do it on
scrawl it into the carpet.
Or on the drywall where it might like be rough.
Stained.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're not like, let me Sharpie this onto something. So it's just kind of interesting to me that it's something so easy to clean up, because it's like, makes me think more of like somebody in your family did this.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Because they're not going to take a Sharpie and do to the wall and risk getting the shit beat out of them. But if they get caught doing it in the bathroom, like, Mom, it's just charcoal. You know, it's like me with my eyeliner. Like, Mom, chill. It wipes off. Like, it's fine. So I'm a little hesitant to
You're going to leave the link, right?
Huh?
You're going to leave the link?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to leave the link. I'm sure a lot of people have seen this video, but I'm going to leave that link where we saw that video. So you guys can check it out.
I want to hear from our audience. What do they think?
Yeah, I want opinions. I think for once I'm going to be the curmudgeon here. I'm going to say I'm not buying it. I'm going to say at least one person in that house is in on something.
Right.
Maybe more. It's a conspiracy.
Yeah, or mental illness. Yeah.
Mental illness. I mean.
Well, we just talked about somebody who we have basically like an acquaintance.
Yes.
Who suffers from paranoid delusions.
Yes.
Right? And it's like, well, imagine somebody like that and they're in a religious family.
That is true. One of the people in the family could be doing it and not know they're doing it.
Yes.
There have been a lot of cases of that where people swear that they're haunted. They're haunting themselves and they don't even know it.
What if it's the aunt who faints because she's
so scared and she's the one doing it to herself because she believes it so strongly.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of different explanations for it. Could be sleepwalking. I used to sleepwalk and do really weird shit.
Yeah.
In my sleep. If you didn't know I did it, you probably would have thought the place was haunted. But too weird stuff. But yeah, let us know what you guys think. We just wanted to share that story with you because it's kind of cool. It's local. It's, you know, people have been talking about it lately. I even had people at work that know I do this podcast that were like, "Hey, did you see this video?" Like, yeah, I did actually. But, you know, let us know what you guys think.
Welcome back. It's going to be a fun 2018.
It's going to be fun. We have some neat upcoming topics. Kind of torn. Let's hear what you guys think. Do you want something on demons and possession? Or do you want us to talk about the UFO stuff that's recently been released?
Yeah, where they just released F-18 footage. And it's like, oh yeah, that's probably a UFO. That's probably aliens. And we're like, yeah, so much other stuff's going on in the news, we can't even be bothered.
Yeah, right now it's just like so much happening. But let us know what you guys would rather hear. Give me some feedback, guys. Thanks.
All right.
After I yell at you.
Thank you, and keep the campfire burning.
Keep the campfire burning. Bye, guys.